Hey, ladies, how are you? We are on day 16 of the 21-day fasting and prayer intensive. And what a journey it has been so far. And guess what? We are not done yet. So today, the Lord has instructed me to talk with you about the power of no. Yes, power of no. Oh my goodness. I think Oprah or somebody said, no is a complete sentence. And I wholeheartedly agree. So there are several reasons to say no. One is, you get a request that does not line up with your purpose. And so that means that you have to know what your purpose is. And most of us, we are multifaceted. We can do several things at the same time, multifaceted, whatever the word is. And we find ourselves doing a whole lot of different things that we're good at, but it's not God's best for us. And you have to know what God's best is for you so that you can begin to weed out those tasks, those assignments, and be prepared when people come to you and ask you if you can do X, Y, and Z. And the reality is we are good at those things and we could do them and we could do a good job, but it's not God's best for us, and we are not operating in our highest potential. We're not moving forward in what God has called us to do in terms of purpose and destiny. So you have to get the courage on the inside to say no to those things that just are not lining up with where you are now. Some things are seasonal, for example. So perhaps you were leading a ministry at your church some time ago or for some time, and the seasons change. And the only way you'll know if your season has changed is if you are in relationship with God and you are in a posture to hear Him and to be able to decipher all of the things that are happening in your life. This is critically important. This is why you have people who are in I call them perpetual positions at church. And, I told my bishop when he appointed me over this ministry of women that I am over now, I said, I'm only going to do it for 2 years, Bishop, because I don't believe in perpetual positions in the church. So I'm coming up on the end of my second year. I told him I would come back after a year and a half and have a conversation with him about it. And I had that conversation in June that I'm not going to be moving forward with the ministry in the new year. So he needs to get somebody else to do it. He told me that he would receive my recommendations. And so I've worked diligently to find replacements for myself and the vice president. And we are happy to be putting forth these two wonderful women, one of whom went to divinity school with me. And the other sister, she is a doctor of education. And, so you have the spiritual and the education piece covered. So I'm excited about that because I believe and I'm expecting God to do some great things next year. And He's already done that. I told you all about the call that I received from the Black Chamber of Commerce. And so I wrapped all of that up today, my speaker fee, which I'm so excited about. And all of my travel and hotel and everything is going to be paid for. And so I'm just really excited about God because I see His hand. And, I told you all that this year my word was exposure, and God has continued to expose me. My words for next year, I have 2 for next year. I just had 1 for this year. My 2 for next year are expansion and earnings. And so I've already seen the fruit of that already. I told you all earlier this week that we're already in the new year. So, you need to believe that because we are. My new year has already started. So I've already locked in several engagements for my new year. So, believe that. All right, so back to the lesson. Saying no, the power of no. We say no for several reasons. I wanted to highlight 2 of them tonight. The first is the task or the assignment is not in line with what your purpose is. The second is the request does not meet your value or your worth. Yes. So it could very well be in line with your purpose, but what the person is willing to give you as it relates to the assignment is not it's not up to par with your value. I'll give you a perfect example. I preached at a university for Women's History Month back in March, and I agreed to do it without cost, to waive my fee, because, they were proposing that there would be some teaching opportunities available. And, for those of you who know me, I love to teach and I love to preach. And so I said, okay, I would go and I would, that would be the concession that, a teaching opportunity would be made available. And so I did. I went and, they did have a love offering for me, which I was not expecting, but it was very low. And I said, okay, fine. Again, the concession was, possibility of a teaching position. So afterwards, the lady who invited me, I kept trying to reach out. Well, not trying. I kept reaching out to her and she just wasn't responding. And so, of course, I felt some kind of way. The number one response to the way I was feeling was, oh, okay, so you all used me. Okay. And so you file that. And sometimes that happens. You go to a place and you speak and they just don't treat you right. That has happened to me on a number of occasions. Okay. But that's okay. God always replaces. God always gives me what I need, et cetera, et cetera. So didn't hear back from her for several months. And most recently, she reached out to me, saying, oh, I'm so sorry. I hadn't responded. I've been busy. I'm thinking to myself, I've been busy too. But okay. And so she invited me to go on this silent retreat with members of the faculty. And I said, okay, that's a good sign. And she also told me that she had forwarded my resume to the teaching coordinator. I said, okay, this is good. So fine. I told her that I would be interested in going on this silent retreat because I've always wanted to go on one. So last week they had to change the date because it was supposed to be the first of this month. And I was excited about going, but they had to change the date for some reason. And in her email, she asked me about coming to teach a class and doing a training for the staff. And I said, okay, well, what's your budget for the training? And she said $500. I said, no, I asked her what was her budget and, were they looking to do a half day or a full day training? And she said, oh, just about 2 hours. Okay, so she wasn't coming up to half a day. And she said $500. I said, you all already know the kind of speaker I am, the knowledge base that I bring to the table. And my fee for a half day training session is $2,500. And, if you all can't meet that or come up to that, then I would be happy to give you a referral for somebody else to do the diversity training. And it took her a couple of days to respond to that. And her response was, well, we're on a tight budget. We're calling it training on a shoestring, whatever. And I gave her a referral. And so I'm sharing that with you to say that you have to know your value and your worth. Because if you don't, people will take full advantage of your gifts, your talents, your skills. Could I have gone in there and done the diversity training for $500? Yes. But because I am over a budget and I bring speakers and trainers in all the time and I know what we pay them, no, you're not going to bring me in to do a 2-hour training because speakers and trainers, they don't do hours. It's half day or full day, and they start at $2,500. And guess what she said? She said, I know that the fee is correct because when I am in a consulting position, I do the same. She said, but we're on a shoestring budget. Okay. I gave her the referral, and I felt okay with it, and I still feel okay with it. So I want to encourage you as we are in this fast and we come out of this fast and you have your your instructions and your directions and your plan, that you know what you are worth. You know what you bring to the table. And it's okay to say no to an opportunity, because just like that one came and I said no, another one came and I didn't even have to tell the lady my fee. She asked me, was $2,500 okay with me? And my response was, beautiful. Okay. All right. So until tomorrow morning, the power of no.